welcome everyone to our water cooler this week. I see lots of familiar faces, and that's lovely. Um, I am really thrilled to welcome Teresa Greely here with us to talk about her elementary globe field trips. And it's such a cool thing. The University of South Florida has been a globe partner since 2007. And every time I hear from Teresa, she's like doing so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to hear more about this. We have to share what you're doing because it's incredible. The amount of globe you're doing down there in the University of South Florida. Um, and so I am really happy to give you the spotlight for you to share just one thing you're doing. And maybe we can have you back to talk about like the 10 other things another
Anytime.
time.
Anytime. Just have Haley email me. I respond to Haley. She sends it and I'm teasing. It
Will
just
do.
works.
I'm going to not do that. I'm leaving everything for University of South Florida and you, Teresa, to Haley.
No, I'm just messing. Just messing. Oh, man. Well, thank you, Jed, for that intro and reminding me because I did not know when we started officially doing Globe. So thank you. 2007. I need to record that somewhere. But thank you everyone for being here and just wanting to hear what we're doing here in on the west coast of Florida in the Tampa Bay region, just to put you in a geographic location where we are. And I was hoping we could just start with a video. We just started an agreement with our city here in St. Petersburg, and they are funding the next 5 years of programming for us, while we in turn are leveraging to build an endowment that will hopefully permanently fund the specific elementary globe field trips that will continue beyond that 5 year agreement. So it's always fun to see things. So I'm going to let you see one of the field trips in action. Our mayor visited at the end of last year, who was responsible for agreeing to the funding. And so I'll share a video and then I'll share a poster that we just presented at the Florida Marine Science Educators Association. I just got it all in. It's a long name. Just this past weekend to again share this program and to highlight Globe as part of that sharing opportunity. And then, and don't, you can interrupt me anytime. I'm in a classroom all the time. So if questions come, just shout them out. But I'm going to go ahead and share a video and then we'll go from there. And thank you, Haley, for setting me up on all these good things. All right, just confirm that you can see that and I will play it. Welcome to Clam Bayou Marine Education Center. This is a place where you can get your feet wet, your mind's engaged, and your heart happy.
This is a marine education center, and we use it for field trips like the one that you're going to have today.
We're here observing an education program, a partnership with USF St. Pete that gives students in our community the opportunity to learn about our environment, to learn about oceanography, and have really a hands-on experience that many of them have never had before.
Ready? Yeah! Let's go!
We're going to be measuring surface temperature, we're going to be measuring fish, looking at plankton, really just seeing all the things that, you know, the nature has for us.
What do you see? What do you notice? A shell. A shell. Okay. A crab. A crab.
We teach science the way we do our science. They're very authentic ways of doing things and measuring the cloud cover or the surface temperature. Students are learning to do that from their classroom setting and then to be the experts by the time they visit Clam Bayou, where they take the same data in a natural, less developed setting and share that data with NASA. And that NASA data is then used by scientists all over the world. So the idea is to begin with teachers. Teachers first become comfortable and become the students, if you will, for a week, a couple weeks before school starts.
We want the teachers to feel comfortable with the things that they are learning so that they can go back to their classroom and equip their students in a way that is hands-on and engaging and that brings a love and curiosity for the environmental stewardship that we have right here at the Clam Bayou.
Partnerships are extremely important when it comes to reaching our youth. We're like the torso, right? Like we have the resources, but we aren't necessarily the arms and the legs. We can distribute the resources and through partnership to the arms and the legs. So that might be our local colleges or our local nonprofits, our businesses. Through the use of their arms, we move things around, and through the use of their legs, we move forward.
I see it moving. Oh yeah, look, there's a couple pods.
We were over at the mangroves, and one of my students who never talks in class, I mean, he's just the most quiet kid. He's like shouting out the answer to what detritus is. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's speaking. So I'm like really glad that he got that moment to, be heard and have a voice.
We asked a young man, what do you want to do? He says, I want to be a marine biologist. And that is exactly what we want to see. Kids thinking about their future, finding paths that they can make to be successful, and making sure that we facilitate that progress for them.
I hope that they all leave with some sort of curiosity. They leave with a question. Maybe we didn't answer everything for them, and they have to go on their own and inquire about it. Because no matter what you do in life, having that quizzical nature is necessary and will help you throughout both the lulls and the highs.
Clam Bayou was really fun. First, we went to go learn about plankton, then we went into the water. It was really cool. We caught all sorts of fish, 22 fish to be exact.
Can I hold that? Aw, very sweet.
We just learned about mangroves, how they absorb, and they have some have salt on the back and that you can eat, but you can't eat the front because there's no salt on it. And they also can protect buildings, how if a tornado or hurricanes come, it can protect the buildings.
We looked at microscopes to find plankton, and we got to draw the plankton that we saw. There was these different organisms. It was clear. It was see-through.
Black flags, all come back.
I would tell them it's a whole bunch of fishing, a whole bunch of water. I would tell you there's people that will help you. You get to learn a lot of stuff. That's what I would really tell them.
So how was that for an intro to what we do on our daytime?
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA-enginered AC cool down your room.
I don't know what's playing
than
me
a
now.
tube
Hang on a
cools
second.
any room in 90 seconds.
Teresa, I want to work there. I want to do that with the kids. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Come join us. It means so much. Thank you all for just your time to share, because I could share more in the 5-minute video than anything I could talk with you about. But so welcome to my world and why I'm still doing this 35 years later. So we just, as long as my usefulness is here, we'll keep doing these kinds of things. But so Globe is a part of we try to incorporate it as part of most of our programming. And field trips are a really big component that we can provide, and it's just part of the mission of our college and the university as a whole, community engagement. Here in the Marine Science College, we've been doing outreach for about 35 years, starting with an oceanography camp, especially for girls, to encourage teen girls to pursue STEM careers. Starting back in 1991, when there were some major concerns, but especially within the ocean sciences and geosciences overall. But so I hope you learned a little bit from the video. And we just presented a poster so I can kind of highlight where Globe is embedded. I'm going to share that and just kind of talk through it if that gives you a visual. And please, anyone who wants to come join us, come join us. You will be our guest. I'm not sure what you're seeing. Are you seeing the poster maybe? Okay, great. I have so many things that are popping up on my screen right now, like stop, too many things. But just again, this is a program that is the result of many years of previous programming that's brought us to this place where for the program that you just saw, our new agreement with the city is the result of almost probably 6 years of NOAA BWET funding to develop these field trips. We started initially, everything is a springboard from the oceanography camp that we've done for many, many summers. And that's a 3-week summer engagement for, again, teen girls. And from that, of course, teachers wanted their own oceanography program. So we had programs for teachers so they could bring the ocean into their classroom. And so kind of our two goals are either we are bringing everyone to the ocean or we're bringing the ocean into your classroom. And Globe has been a really great way for us for this particular program. Are you seeing all of that? Because I'm not seeing the whole thing. As long as you guys are, that's good. So the idea is to build the stewardship, the environmental monitoring while students are in school. So usually from August to December or January, the Globe students are monitoring their schoolyard. They can take the information home if they want to monitor their backyard, but teachers are required to monitor a certain number of data points, if you will, and that is their bus ticket to come to a field trip at the end. So we incentivize it, but there's also lots and lots of practice to do the environmental monitoring. So when they come here, they see the tools laid out, they are grabbing their tools, they know exactly what to do. And sometimes it's new tools because we'll have schools not where students who haven't been monitoring Globe, they get to learn from students who have been monitoring the environment. So a lot of things happen on a field trip. And then they take that data, their school data, compare it with other schools, and the data that they get here. What's different about Clam Bayou? It's not as developed. There's not as much impermeable surface. They don't use that word yet, but they will. If we say it, they're going to say it back. But so they really get to see this beautiful green space. We are adjacent to a natural preserve that's been part of a really large restoration project. So they get to compare the differences. Why is this different from my classroom, from my school campus, I should say.
Can you just
And
scroll up, Teresa?
yeah,
Where you can see where it says Osprey Fellows, but then we can't see anything underneath that.
yeah, I think I have to unshare. I keep trying to move it and it won't let me even grab it and move it. So can I unshare and I'll snap it right back on just so
Yeah.
we'll try that again because I'm like, so that I'm glad you mentioned the Osprey Fellows. So that's another component. So I think now this is in the right place for us. Whoa. Hope you're all there. Everybody just disappeared for a moment.
We're still here.
Oh, thank you. All right. How's that? Can we see everything better now?
Yes. Now we
Okay,
can see it all.
great. So a component that, again, it's been a part of our programming for a while through other big grants with the National Science Foundation is having graduate students and undergraduates as part of most everything we do. So we have a built-in, we have a graduate student who goes to each classroom. We have a team of graduate students who we call Osprey Fellows. That's the name of our program, Osprey. And so they are there to set up the globe sampling location on campus, uh, to teach the students, our young scholars, we call them, how to monitor their environment. And they go in and share about their research. What is it like to be in college versus being in elementary school? And talk about potential career interest. And sometimes we'll have question boxes so they can ask a scientist questions when they come back to the classroom. And then their fellow is also here to lead the field trip when the classes come to Clam Bayou. So there's relationship building, continuity, a familiar face, a comfort level. So a lot of the components that are really, really important when you're having these sustained experiences. And so that's a piece that may not typically be a part of programs, but we found it incredibly beneficial. And you might ask, how does that benefit the graduate students? It's giving them the opportunity to practice teaching and talking about their research, their science, and hopefully graduating with their degrees being, rock star ocean scientists later and realizing the value of community engagement. And as a scientist, returning to ensure that that might be part of their portfolio and professional endeavors. So that's kind of how we see it as a full circle. But the poster kind of highlights the key components. There's a pre-program where the teachers are provided with a professional learning opportunity, and then classroom throughout the school year, classroom visits, and that's when the globe monitoring is done, and then culminating in a field trip experience right here. And it's been really exciting, and we've had a pretty successful first year. We're just finishing. We finished our last field trip 2 days ago for this program. But I'm going to kind of decrease and let you guys ask any questions if you have any, but I hope I've given you enough to think about with the presentation.
Oh, Tracy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a lovely program, Teresa. Just as Haley said, just all these different components coming together to build youth in their skills. I guess I have a question about microplastics, and if you have any interest or future plans to add microplastics into the mix of the field study.
Well, because we collect plankton samples, live samples, each time we have a field trip, we can see the microplastics in our samples.
Mm-hmm.
We have not done something we do have ongoing research here in the college, and with an adjacent and undergraduate program, Eckerd College. And Eckerd, I believe, actually developed an app on microplastics of sorts. So we're just beginning to muck around with that. And I want to encourage all of my undergraduate courses that I teach those students to start using those apps. But we haven't formalized, like set aside microplastics as an activity yet. We would have to take something away because sadly the day is too short between the buses and when the buses drop off scholars and you move. So, and they would want to stay here all day. But I forgot, that's a great question though. And there's more content, Tracy, that we could add all the time. That may become more and more. We have a major study in the Bay right now happening that's microplastics, forever chemicals. We're sampling everything from the benthic community, the water column, catching lots of fish to see what the cumulative impacts of those things are. But thank you for the compliment. Until you step back and share, you really don't realize you're so busy doing, you don't realize all that you're doing sometimes. So that means a lot coming from my peers and veterans doing what we're doing here. So.
When you're doing the surface temperature, are they doing the land surfaces near the water, or are they doing the water itself, or both?
For the elementary globe, we're doing ground surface temperature. We do through the summer, we use Globe for our oceanography camp. And we're doing a lot of hydrology sampling for that.
Okay.
From a research vessel, from near shore. So we have quite a large data set. We just have to, not all of that, some of that was entered in the original version of Globe website data entry. I don't know where some of that stuff is now, how to access it, but we do have quite a extensive data set over the years of collecting, and as often as we can, we are following Globe protocols and using their tools. And I have questions about Lamont. So it's been recommended for our elementary students, particularly, that we adopt the Lamont kit. We've been using Hawk pretty consistently because we were using Hawk before we started Globe to do our nutrient analysis on our research cruises. If anyone has feedback or recommendations, I'd love to know something. Hey, Mitch.
Hi, I'm just wondering, in the past, we had done our Globe protocols and were able to upload those into databases and things like that. What are you doing with your microplastics?
Well, we're not monitoring microplastics.
Oh,
So
you're not? Okay.
it's incidental that we do see microplastics in almost every plankton sample. But it's not something that we're actively, for our education programs, there are research projects happening with
Oh,
that.
all right, I get it.
Yeah, so two different things. But like I was telling Tracy, we would have to start eliminating things because the days are just too short if we focus on microplastics. We
Yeah.
are trying to, so we just put, there's solar panels on the entire roof of the facility now. And we're trying to, our newest curriculum is to build something that parallels solar panels and phytoplankton. So the scholars are looking at phytoplankton under the microscope, and we can talk about how their superpowers have helped us to know how to have superpowers on our roof to collect the sun's energy and make use of that. And our culminating, I didn't show it in the video, but the culmination of the field trip is either we do a stewardship activity, which is again hard because there's not enough time. So we've replaced that with eco heroes. So we'll give watercolors and ask the students to imagine their favorite, their eco hero and what their superpower would be. And it's been just so incredible and so imaginative, and incorporating what they've seen as part of the field trip and learned through the school year as part of what they want their eco hero to be able to do for the environment. But
And those kids look like, were those like fourth graders? Third,
yeah,
fourth
fourth and fifth grade are generally where we're targeting. We can have third graders, but based on the curriculum and what they've been learning in science, it's kind of the sweet spot is fourth and fifth grade. Although we do programming for K to grade at this facility for this elementary Globe aspect, that's the grade levels we target.
And your ocean summer camp, what age is that?
That is 12 to 14, so high school here, starting high school. And then I have college students that come here as well. So, but
And the funding from the city that paid for all the aspects of this, so the professional development, sorry.
Yes, so we were operating, I don't know, do you guys like numbers? Do you want to know what our budget is to do what we do? So, I mean,
It doesn't hurt.
sharing that stuff, but so it doesn't pay for myself or Mackenzie, any of our salaries or anything like that, but exclusive of that, just for the programming aspect, which includes the graduate fellows, the teacher stipends, the buses, everything, just not me or Mackenzie. We have about 100,000 annually, and that's what our BWET has. And our goal is 500 plus. We're at about 650 now, students just from the first year. between the classroom students and the students, which not everyone in the classrooms makes it to the field trip, sadly, but 1,000 different things happen between, yes, I'm going on the field trip and you're not on the bus for some, I can't even, it makes us really sad because we want everybody to come on the field trip. But so that's what we're looking at, about 100,000 a year. And the most all of that is participant cost for doing field trips and paying the teachers for their time and not just during the workshop, the training, but also throughout the school year. And buses cost money. That's a pretty high
Buses
ticket
can be
item.
expensive. Yeah.
What's that?
Is your school district run by the city, or is it no,
No,
is it a county
no.
school district and then
It's a
a
county school district. We're going to attempt this in year two because one of our a four-member team, um, and our other two team members are teachers or have been teachers in the classroom. One is a teacher in the elementary schools now, and the other was an elementary teacher who now works at the district level for the STEM, like science clubs, after school science programs. So we have two really, really strong community partners who are our liaise with teachers, schools, and that makes a big difference. Because they know what incentivizes participation, how can we be more supportive. There's a lot of, you can do just the littlest things go such a long ways, but you don't know what you don't know unless you're listening to your audience and everyone who's involved. So it's that's really what we're about, building really strong win-win teams. I don't say it's never one person, it's all of us coming together to do something exciting. But so yes, that's our how the funding is arranged. Again, with the goal, we're building an endowment in order to fund the programs beyond the 5 to 10 years of funding. And we have the oceanography camp, especially for girls. That is why that program is still operating 35 years later, because we built endowments within the first 10 years of the program that have continued to grow and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. And that within a university system, that's the way to do things if you want to keep them going, or outside the university. But it also makes the commitment on the university that they have to provide that program, so they can't say no, which is great. So priorities can't change if it is an endowed activity or program. So just one model. I'm sure there's many.
That is awesome. Very helpful. Um, Unfortunately, it's 2 minutes after the hour.
We did it. We did it.
I was worried there. We took up a lot of time in the beginning. I was like, oh, and I knew you had a lot to share. So I hope that you come back and share more, because I think that there's a really great model with this, and all the work you've done. I love hearing about your work. And as a former, my concentration was in marine and freshwater biology, and so zoology with a concentration. What you're doing is what I was hoping to do.
Oh, never too late. Come join us.
Maybe that's
Gracie,
my
come on over.
retirement plan.
Yep.
Would be to go down and visit you and do that. So, Mitch is going to go visit everybody that he knows in his retirement. So maybe I can just do my marine biology in my retirement.
There you
So,
go. Live your dream. That's what it's about.
yeah. All right. So with that, 3 minutes after the hour, thank you very much, Teresa, for sharing with us. It was awesome. And I think that it's just something for us to think about and keeping in terms of keeping programming going, and the relationship that you've built with the city is really impressive. So congratulations on that too. I know it took a lot of work because building relationships takes a lot of work, especially in these times with money tight and
Yeah.
um, everything that's going on. So I think we could all use those skills. Maybe you can do like a skills workshop for us on how to build
Or
relationships.
whatever you think is beneficial, and again, that's when you've been so close to something for so long, you don't realize what's of benefit outside of your cocoon sometimes. So happy to share and anything. That's what we should be doing. So if you feel there's something to share, I am happy to share it.